On January 17, 2026, Beijing shocked the world by demanding $8 billion in compensation from the Netherlands. This bold move escalates a tense dispute over the Dutch semiconductor company Nexperia, now Chinese-owned. China accuses the Dutch government of expropriating Nexperia's assets and violating international trade agreements. The $8 billion demand, Beijing claims, reflects lost investments and damage to Nexperia's market position. This is more than a business spat. It's a geopolitical showdown with the global tech supply chain at stake. The Dutch government is scrambling, torn between rejecting China's demands and fearing economic fallout. The Netherlands, a key player in semiconductors, suddenly finds itself at the center of a global crisis. For consumers, this isn't just corporate drama. Nexperia's chips power everything from cars to smartphones. Disruptions could mean shortages and price hikes worldwide. The standoff is a warning. Geopolitics now directly impacts the technology we rely on every day. The world is watching to see if the Netherlands will stand firm or bend under pressure. This is a test case for the New World Order. Dutch regulators, citing national security, imposed strict restrictions on Nexperia, crippling its operations. Key projects were halted, costing hundreds of millions and triggering a domino effect across the company's supply chain. Suppliers delayed or canceled shipments, and production lines slowed or stopped entirely. Nexperia couldn't fulfill orders, damaging relationships with major customers. The uncertainty led to a brain drain, as top engineers left for more stable jobs elsewhere. The company's market value plummeted, and its reputation as a reliable partner was shattered. Business partners now hesitate to engage with Nexperia, fearing political risk. The disruption ripples through the wider semiconductor market, highlighting the fragility of global supply chains. Government intervention has pushed Nexperia into crisis, with consequences far beyond its own walls. Nexperia began as part of Dutch giant Philips, later spinning off as a leader in essential, high-volume semiconductors. In 2017, Chinese consortium Wingtech acquired Nexperia, injecting capital and fueling rapid growth. Under Chinese ownership, Nexperia expanded across Europe, becoming a critical supplier for automotive and electronics industries. The partnership seemed a model of global cooperation: Dutch engineering, Chinese investment. But as tensions between China and the West grew, Nexperia's Chinese ties became a liability. Western governments began to see the company's role in the supply chain as a vulnerability, not a strength. Fears mounted that China could use its control to disrupt technology flows or access sensitive information. What was once a success story of cross-border investment became a flashpoint in the global tech rivalry. The stage was set for government intervention. Nexperia's journey from Dutch jewel to Chinese asset now lies at the heart of a geopolitical storm. The company's fate is a symbol of the new era of suspicion and strategic competition. In late 2025, the Dutch government invoked a new law to protect vital industries from foreign control. Nexperia was placed under special administration, with government-appointed trustees overruling the Chinese-led board. Key Chinese executives were removed, replaced by Dutch-approved management. The government argued this was necessary to safeguard national security and economic interests. For Wingtech, it was a de facto expropriation. Billions invested, now stripped by decree. Chinese investors called it protectionism, disguised as security. The sudden leadership vacuum threw Nexperia's strategy into chaos. The intervention sent a chilling message to foreign investors. Political winds can upend even established deals. The Netherlands risked its reputation as an open economy, but saw no alternative. This decisive move triggered China's aggressive response. The diplomatic crisis was now unavoidable. Beijing responded swiftly, launching a two-pronged counterattack. First, China imposed export controls on key metals like gallium and germanium, vital for semiconductors and dominated by Chinese supply. Dutch and European firms now faced bureaucratic hurdles and supply uncertainty. The message: interfere with our investments, and your supply chains will suffer. Second, China formally demanded $8 billion in compensation, filing a legal claim under international investment agreements. Beijing accused the Netherlands of violating its obligations to protect foreign investments. The combination of economic pressure and legal action put the Dutch government in a bind. China aimed to make the Netherlands an example, warning others against similar moves. The stakes were now global, with trade, law, and diplomacy colliding. The world saw just how far China would go to defend its interests. China's $8 billion claim is meticulously calculated. About $4 billion covers the original acquisition and capital investments by Wingtech. Another $2.5 billion accounts for lost business, canceled contracts, and halted expansion. $1 billion is for brand devaluation and loss of intellectual property, citing leadership chaos and brain drain. The final $500 million covers legal fees and punitive damages. China argues this is fair compensation for an investment undermined by politics. The Dutch see it as excessive and politically charged, insisting their actions were legitimate national security measures. The heart of the dispute: where does sovereign right end and expropriation begin? This isn't the first time foreign investors have sued states over lost assets. Investor-state dispute settlement (ISDS) tribunals have ruled on similar cases, like Spain's retroactive cuts to renewable energy subsidies. Many investors won compensation, with tribunals affirming that states can't destroy the value of foreign investments made in good faith. These precedents bolster China's case, arguing the Netherlands violated investor protections. But tribunals have also sided with states, upholding their right to regulate for national security. The outcome often hinges on treaty language and the facts of the case. The Netherlands will argue its actions were a genuine security measure, not disguised protectionism. The legal battle will center on whether the intervention was justified and proportional. The Spanish cases show investors can win, but nothing is guaranteed. The world is watching how this precedent will shape future disputes. The world waits to see what comes next. Negotiation is the first option. Partial compensation or eased restrictions could de-escalate the crisis. If talks fail, the dispute heads to international arbitration, a process that could drag on for years. A ruling for China would force the Netherlands to pay billions, damaging its finances and reputation. A Dutch victory would affirm its right to protect national security. Escalation is the most dangerous path. China could expand export controls or target Dutch products, risking a trade war. The European Union could be drawn in, deepening global economic fractures. This case is a test for global investment in an era of rising geopolitical risk. If China wins, it may pursue similar claims elsewhere. If the Netherlands prevails, Western nations may tighten controls on Chinese investment. Multinational companies are on alert. Political risk is now a central concern. The trust that underpins global trade is under threat. The outcome will shape the rules of the new economic order. The stakes could not be higher. China's $8 billion demand is more than a financial claim. It's a challenge to the foundations of global trade. The Nexperia saga signals the end of an era where cross-border investment felt secure. National security is now a powerful tool for governments to intervene in markets. The Netherlands, once a model of openness, is now caught between U.S. security alliances and Chinese economic ties. Economic interdependence has become a vulnerability in great power competition. For businesses, political risk is now front and center. Supply chains and investments can be upended overnight. The trust that enabled globalization is eroding, threatening innovation and raising costs for everyone. The China-Netherlands standoff is a microcosm of a larger global struggle over technology and influence. How this conflict is resolved will set the tone for the future: cooperation or division. The world is watching, and the outcome will echo far beyond these two nations.